Hi everybody, hello. If you only knew how many times I have tried to record a video for you today. I'm sorry that this is late going out, but I have tried all sorts of things and no, never mind, it doesn't matter. Right, so I'm making a bag, as you can see. It's 15 by 15. It can be any size, really can be any size. Could be 8 by 8, could be much bigger than this. I think this is a good grocery shopping bag. I don't know about the States or Australia, but in this country a while ago we decided we didn't like single-use plastics, and that plastic carrier bags that you got in supermarkets were really not a good idea. So they came up with the bag for life, which supermarkets sell at a nominal fee, and if they tear or break, you take it back and they give you another one. That's the theory. I've never put that to the test, but that's the theory anyway. And so a lot of people at that stage chose to make bags, their own bag for life. And that's what I'm going to make today, a little grocery messages bag, a shopping bag, tote, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to use this extremely gorgeous. I love this fabric. I got it to cover a journal some time ago. I just love it. I've saved it because I loved it so much. But I thought that today was a good day to for it to come out, and we'll do this project with it. So all I've got is 2 pieces of the main fabric. Now this is a kind of curtain weight, cushion cover weight fabric. It's not thin like quilting cotton or dressmaking cotton. It's got a bit of something to it. So as a consequence, I'm not going to put an interfacing on it. It's got enough support itself. And I am going to line it. So I've got 2 pieces of calico that also measure 15 by 15. So it's 2 pieces of lining, 15 by 15, 2 pieces of outer, 15 by 15. I've also got some strips for the handles, and these are 4 inches wide and 20 inches long. I don't know if I'm going to need them 20 inches long, but I cut them that long. That was the length of the bit of fabric that I had. So I've cut them that long, and then we'll see when we see. We'll see when we see, won't we? Now this is amazingly similar to when we made the storage caddies. If you manage to make the storage caddies, you make this with your eyes shut, to be honest. I wouldn't advocate it, like, because, you know, we've got scissors and things. But it's a possibility, I suppose. So all I'm going to do is place these fancy pieces, the posh pieces, facing each other, the fronts facing each other, right sides together. Okay, this is directional fabric, so if you've got directional fabric, make sure that your pattern is going up, away from you, and this one the same, going up away from me. So there we are, just square that up, and then we're going to draw our corners on. And I've got a little ruler, square ruler here, and I'm going to make the corners. What shall I make them? I can make them anything I like, and you can too. I think I'll make them 2 by 2. I think that'll be enough, just to give us a bit of a sort of gusset space in the shopping bag. So I'm just going to draw those on with my Frixion on both sides, but across this way. I'm very hemmed in where I am. So 2 by 2. The animals went in 2 by 2. That's not straight. Well, as long as I get it straight on the top piece, I can straighten them together afterwards. So that's 2 by 2. Let's draw that in. There we go. And I want to do the same on the lining. So the square, I can't really go too far wrong. let's push them up the bed a bit, that's it, and draw my 2 by 2 on there. So I'm sorry if you think this is too easy, but I really don't want to be frightening people. I don't want to, that was the problem with all the other videos I've done today. They ended up being too complicated. And I don't want people who've just got their sewing machine out after years or just bought a new one or whatever to be frightened to use it. I want, I want it to be easy for people. So let's work on this side first because I've got green thread in my sewing machine. It's not the perfect match. I didn't have anything that matched perfectly, but it's as near as I can manage. So I'm just going to make sure that that is straight. I'm just going to get some clips out and just clip that down this side. So we've got it nice and straight. Don't need many because you can hold it as you go, really. There we go. Another clip in there. And then I'm going to clip this other side. I've only got green thread in the top. I've got cream in the bottom because I've only got a very little bit of the green. But we'll see how we get on. I'm sure it'll be fine. So all I'm going to do is what we did with the storage caddies. I'm going to sew down this edge along the bottom and down there, leaving, stopping and starting where your box is. Okay, so let's just do that and I'll be right back with you. Right, okay, so that's those 3 sides done, leaving these bits at the bottom. So I'm just going to cut those out. You could have cut them out before you stitch them if you wanted, it doesn't really matter. Just clip those out. Sewing is much easier if you're not doing it all cramped in, but you know, could be worse, couldn't it? So clip that one out too. Then we're going to do exactly what we did with the storage bags. But as I say, if you can get the hang of this, making this bag, it's kind of a foundation for a lot of other things. All bag type things. But so there we are. I'm going to push my seam on that side to one side, this one to the opposite side. Just bring them together like that, and then you'll have a nice square bottom. Yeah, you will. There we are. I'm just gonna, it just needs furcling that way, but that's it. So I'm just going to clip that right where the seams are, and then I'm going to start here, reverse, go along and reverse. Take the clip out when you come to it. And there we have it. There's one of our boxed bottoms. Let's do the other one and then we'll see what it looks, what the bag looks like size wise and stuff. So just push one seam one way, one seam the other way. Make sure you've got plenty of your fabric around. Open, you know, so it's not being hindered. So nest those up together, put a clip on them, and then we'll sew this across there, exactly what we did for the other one. Starting a little way in and reversing, down to the clip, remove the clip, down just about off the end, then reverse. And lovely, lovely job. So let's just turn that inside out and we'll see what we've got. There's our lovely boxed bottom there. Really nice. Nice and wide, the seams match up. You'll be able to get lots of produce in there. Not so much that you can't carry it. Just a nice size. There's that bottom there. So there we have it. There's our nice sized bag, I would say. There's the bottom, nicely done. So all I'm going to do now with the lining is exactly the same as that. Exactly. So just down the side, across the bottom and up the side. That's it. That's all I need to do. Then I'm going to box the bottoms in exactly the same way as I did for that. So I'll see you when I'm done. As easy as this is, I can't believe I forgot to tell you the important part. So one side seam completely, sew the base completely, but on the other side seam leave a gap. Now that my gap measures just light of 5 inches, something like that. And then ultimately when we've got everything done, we're going to use that as our turning out. So we're not going to turn it out on the top like we did with the storage boxes. We're going to turn it out on the side. So yeah, don't forget to leave a gap on one of your sides. It doesn't matter which side at all. I always tend to do mine on the left hand side. Right hand side, what's wrong with me? But no, I think it's probably because I'm left handed. I don't know, it doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter. So there we are, and I'm just going to box these corners. Just stick your hand in and get plenty of fabric. Like that. That's much better. And have one seam going one way. So I've got this seam facing that way and the bottom seam is facing the other way, and just nestle them up and you'll feel when they kind of click together, if you like. Just clip that and stitch it across. There we go, lovely boxed bottom. The same with this one, make sure you've got plenty of fabric out so that you can get a good angle. And this one, I'm just following what I did with this, and that one went that way, that one went that way, so I just put them together and just move them with your thumb and you'll feel this sort of lock. They call it nesting, you nest your seams. That comes on more when we start with patchwork. Aha. So there we are, that is that, the lining done as well. And we've got our hole in the side to turn it out with. Excellent. Right, so now this is the wrong side facing. Look, here's the seams. And I just want to give it a little quick... Oh, I forgot to turn my oven, I nearly said. My iron off. 1, 2, 3, that's it on. And I'm just going to wait for that. That's that up to temperature. And I'm going to take my posh fabric one and I'm going to go inside it, so it's a bit hard for you to see. I appreciate that, but I'm just going to flatten the seam out so it's lying nice and flat, and just go all the way down as far as you can. Sometimes if you made a smaller bag it's kind of impossible to get to the bottom, but do your best. go. Try the other side as well. You see what a difference it makes. It just lies lovely and flat. So open that up. And press it. That's fine. Okay. So there we go. There's our outside. Here's our inner. And all that I'm going to do, this lining has got the outside. So I'm going to scrumple this up, push it down into the lining, like that, and then open it up and get your side seams of your inner matching with the side seams of the lining. So just like that. Don't worry too much about flattening the seams of the lining. You can if you want. It's a more thorough job, definitely, but it is just a market bag, you know, so we're not too concerned about things. It's just a practice really to get you into the hang of easy bag making. So that's those done. Now just pull that and they will, as if by magic, just go together. So I'm just going to clip those round. Don't need to leave a space to turn it out. We've already got one on the side of the bag. But you might have to just pull it a little bit just to get it to, you know, one might be slightly different to the other. Don't give up at that stage and think you've ruined it. You absolutely haven't. It's just the way it is. So pull that and go to the centre, put a clip in, pull this side, put a clip in, and there we go. Right, so now all I'm going to do is sew right around it. Start at one of the, oh, I haven't put the handles in. That would be a silly thing to forget, wouldn't it? That would really be a silly thing to forget. Let's look at the handles. I bet all of you at home are going, she hasn't put the handles in. So this is my 20-inch handle, which when it's finished, going to be about that. Now, I think that's about right. So this is 4 inches wide. I'm just going to bring it over, just the same way as we made the little handles for the storage caddy. So those skills that you learnt then come in time and time again, and press it right sides out, wrong sides together, and just press that seam, the fold I should say, it's not a seam. There we are, press that. There we are, and then open that up and take one of them, doesn't matter top or bottom, and fold it into that crease that we've just made. This little iron that I've got, it's a lovely little thing, but it is not the most powerful, so I have to go quite slowly if I want a really good crease on things. If you're using your household iron, you've finished this now. Just I like to leave my iron on pretty much all the time that I'm sewing, and if I was to leave the house iron on all the time, we'd be bankrupt because they're quite power hungry, whereas this one I can leave on and it doesn't do too much damage. There we are. And turn that round and fold this side up to the centre and press. If you've got a water bottle, even your demister, you know, your Timmy water bottle, and you think you'd get a better crease if you had water on it, do that by all means. Give it a quick spray. But if you take your time, you'll be alright. So it's just like a giant one of the handles that we put on the storage caddy. It's exactly what it is. So there we go, and then you just fold it over on itself. So they meet nicely there. This is beautiful fabric. I love this fabric. It was quite expensive. But worth it. There we go. And then take it to the machine, which in my case is not very far away. And you want to top stitch it. Now top stitching, generally we use a slightly longer stitch. So I'm going to use a 3 instead of the 2.5 I use for regular stitching. And you want it really quite far over, but don't have it falling off the edge. It's easy to do that. Just near the edge, not over the edge. Okay? And stitch down this side here, like that, and then down the other side. And I'm going to do the other one as well, so when I come back I'll have both of them done. Okay? Right, so I've stitched my 2 handles, and I've got my, I've clipped it from the lining, and I've got my 2 side seams on either side of me. And where would I like to put them? Let's come in about 4 inches, 1, 2, 3, 4 inches to there, and that would be 4 inches, 1, 2, 3, 4 to there. Yeah, I think that would be all right. I think it would be fine. Okay, so let's mark those in properly. I'm just going right to the edge, and I'm drawing a line at 4 inches there, and then right to the end and draw a line there at 4 inches. Then turn it over and do exactly the same. Make sure that your side seams are right on the side, and come in 4 inches and then 4 inches on this side. And then we're going to take one of our bag handles and put it to the outside of that 4 inches, and just on one layer of your bag, top layer, make sure that's the edge is straight with the edge. In fact, I'm going to pin this just to make sure it doesn't move, and then follow it around. So this is my inside, 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 so that goes there like so. Make sure that the top is straight, and once again I'm just going to pin that so it doesn't move, so it is straight. Same on the other side. And it's going to be a grocery bag, so you know we think it's going to take some weight. You know, you could have gone and bought carrots and onions and all sorts of things, couldn't you? And they can be heavy. So you want it to be substantial enough to take that weight. So you follow around inside, 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 inside. So the inside goes to the inside. And up there, straight with the top of that. This pin's a bit bent, but never mind. And pin that. And then I am going to do exactly what we did with the little storage caddy. I'm going to stitch over and over several times to get it, make sure it's nice and strong, and it will never fail you on your way either to the shop or on your way back. So that's about 5 times I've gone over that, but quite close to the top. Look, it's not going to be involved in the seam when we sew the lining on. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll do. You can do it many more times if you want to. And then onto the ones on the other side. Making sure that the straight edge of your handle's lined up with the straight edge of your bag. And I've just got one more to do. There we are. Now I'm actually going to leave my pins in there, and I know that you shouldn't stitch over pins, I know that, but these are very, very fine quilter's pins, and you'd be mighty unlucky to get the needle to go down right on that. But even so, when I come to sewing those in, I'm going to be really careful about it. So now we've got our handles in, we can put it back up to where we should have been before, but we weren't. So pop that in. It's just like a repeat for you. Make sure your handles are tucked into inside the lining, and start again at the side seam. That is very, very blunt. Let's get one of these. These are the ones I use for my glue bottles. It was a full pack and I've used loads on my glue bottle when my glue bottle gets stuck. Because they're nice and fine, they go in the little opening of the glue. It's naughty really, but you know, that's life. Right, so now I'm just going to clip around again. So hold your side seams like so, stretch them just a little bit, and come in and clip your lining and your posh fabric so they're straight together. And one on this side as well. There we go. You can use any fabric really for this. You could use quilting weight cotton if you want, but I would advise that you use an interfacing on the back. But denim would be fabulous. Or I know that Tim Holtz has recently brought out some canvas fabric. Oh my goodness, that would be phenomenal for this. Phenomenal. But I don't have any, so I'm using this other very beautiful fabric. Right, so that's it. We're clipped up again, and now I'm just going to sew. That's been caught with a rotary cutter. We're just going to sew at the whatever you've sewn the rest of your seams with. Just light of 1/2 inch my stitching is, but you know, you do what's comfortable for you. I'm just going to take the storage caddy off, and I'm going to use the free arm, and that means then I can get this under and it can go around. So I'm going to start at one of the side seams, and I am going to remove that pin. There's no need for that. Oh, need to move my stitch, my needle. Right, we're off. So I'm going to just reverse a little bit and then go around and stop with your needle down. Move your next bit onto the needle bed, And just apply a little bit now. Here's a handle, so I'm just going to go quite steady over that, and I am going to reverse over it and back again. Just extra additional support. Just move the clips when you come to them. Keep a bit of tension on that. I don't mean pull it through the needle. I just mean hold it at the back and hold it at the front, and a little bit of tension on it. So where's my next handle? Not yet. Keep moving it around. I think Mr. F's come up with a way to record where you can see the sewing machine, which would be excellent. There we are, and onwards to the side seam. Move that pin that's in the side seam. Keep moving it around so you've got a nice straight piece ahead of you. I'm coming up to a handle, so just gently over that handle and over again backwards and over again frontwards, and then just keep stitching around. Remove the clips as you come to them. Keep that little bit of tension on your fabrics. I'm very, very nearly there. Just got one more strap to negotiate. Gently does it over the strap and reverse and forward again, and then all the way to the side seam where we began. Just do a few stitches over the first stitches and reverse, and that's that. Let's put this back on there, out of the way. Right, so we've sewn all the way around the top. So now what you need to do is put your hand in the gap that we left in the side seam and pull everything through. And we've left quite a good gap there, so it's easily coming through. But it still is awkward. Remember, you've got pins in those handles, so watch your fingers when you come to those. There we go. That's that turned out. I've got some threads here that I need to deal with. So there we have it. We have our lining here. We have our bag here. You can take these pins out of the handles now. And then all we need to do now is close the side seam. Which side is it? This side. And you see my calico's begun to fray, so I'm just going to trim off those ends, and then just put your fingers where your stitching starts, and you'll see it wants to turn in. It just wants to go in. Now you can hand sew this. If you're going to be selling it or anything, I would recommend that you hand sew it. Get a nicer finish. But for the purposes of this, I'm just going to stitch up that side. Quite near to the edge. Reverse a little bit at the finish. So there we are. I have stitched it. It's really difficult to see. You know, it's perfectly fine, particularly for a bag like this that isn't, you know, it's not an evening bag or anything like that, although you could go shopping in the evening. Right, so now what we want to do is, that's just my iron telling me it's going to go off in a minute, is tuck the lining into the bag. It doesn't want to go. Where's the bottom? There's the bottom. Let's tuck the bottom in like that. That's it. Then get your corners lined up. Your corners of your, you can feel the corners of your lining. Push it up to the corners of your bag like that. And then the same on the other side. Just be a bit, manhandle it a bit. Get your corners and your corners all sorted out. Lovely, that's lovely. And then I want to just press this around, and then we're just going to top stitch it. There's a thread there, which I don't want. So, same as when we did the storage caddy, pull your handle and you'll see that it just goes really nice. It just wants to go. And then try and get that just a touch off the top. Can you see that? No, you can't. It's just a little touch off the top. And I'm just going to press that around as I go. And go all the way around and press it. Sometimes you'll see that you need to get a pin to get the edge to the edge. Just put it in and just pull it gently. And as you go around and you get it perfectly where you want it, just press it. I'm just poking in where that seam is and pulling it up. My sister's just messaged, she's gone to Ireland on a coach trip, and they picked her up this morning at 6:15, which she didn't like at all. And she messaged me there before and said she's arrived in Dublin, and then she sent a photograph of a Guinness, which she was enjoying. I can't imagine anything worse, frankly, but you know, that's what she wants, that's fine. She's having a nice time. I think coach trips are great for us elderly folk who may be single, you know. They're quite safe, I think, aren't they? Well, I hope they are. So just pulling that out as you go. So you've got it nice there. That's lovely. And this won't take very much sewing around at all. You know, we've done the hard bit, we've done the pressing. There we are. I think we're about done for that. So now I'm just going to top stitch, and I'm going to top stitch from the right side, although it would be easier to top stitch, but I've only got decent thread in the top. I've got cream in the bottom, so I've got a thread end there, so I'm going to do it from the top. There we are. Let's take this off again, it's just easier without it. And I'm going to start at the side seam as before, and just feel it as you go. You know, just do a little bit at a time. Feel it as you go. And I'm going to put my stitch up to 3, and I'm going to move my needle across to the right not massively, but a bit. So it's kind of on the edge, but not exactly completely on the edge. So just keep feeling it as you go. There's the handle, it's a bit thicker. So yeah, I think denim would be a lovely choice for this. I really do. And you can get it in all sorts of shades now, can't you? You can even get really fancy sort of woven denims that are gorgeous. I love them. So just keep moving it around and just keep feeling it with your fingers. Here I've got a bit of lining showing, which I don't want, so I'm just going to pull that in, roll that over, so like that. So I've just got the nice fabric on the top. Nearly there, very, very nearly there. And a few stitches overlapping, and then a couple of backward stitches, reverse should I say, probably. And then let's just trim those ends that we've got. I've got an end there somewhere, there. Okay, so there we are. Right, that's it. That is it, guys. There is our market shopper. That's what I'm going to call it. It's just great. It's lovely. It's sturdy. It'll carry quite a lot. You won't mind being seen out with it, I don't think. But if you want to practice, I recommend that you go into a charity shop or Goodwill store, whatever, and have a look at the curtains that they've got for sale. Doesn't matter whether you actually completely load the fabric, you're just practicing. And it's that weight of fabric that you want. So there we have it. There's the outside. There's the inside, all nicely stitched. Good shopper. Good size. What do you think? I like it. I really do like it, actually. But then again, I absolutely adore that fabric. So there you go. Thank you very, very much for joining me. Sorry it's so late going up, but, you know, things happen, don't they? Largely me. Trying to do really complicated things. But I'd like you to practice this if you possibly can, and then we'll start adding things to it, and then you'll end up with more than just a basic bag. But for a basic bag, this is lovely. All right, guys, do take care. How long have I kept you? Oh, 3/4 of an hour. It's not so bad. Thank you very much. You take care now. Bye.